Let me ask you something, and be honest with yourself. Have you ever looked back at your relationships and thought, why do I keep attracting the same type of person? They seem interested at first, they come on strong, and then suddenly they pull away. They don't open up, they avoid commitment, they shut down when things get real. And somehow, you always end up asking yourself the same question: what am I doing wrong? Here's the truth, and this might surprise you. It's usually not because you're too much. In fact, it's often the opposite. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why emotionally unavailable people are drawn to you, what's really happening beneath the surface, and the one shift that can completely change the pattern. Stay with me, because the last reason is the one almost nobody talks about, and it changes everything. First, let's clarify something important. Emotionally unavailable people don't look unavailable at the beginning. If they did, you'd run. They often appear confident, independent, mysterious, even emotionally deep at first. They might overshare early. They might say things like, "I've never felt this way before." But when emotional intimacy starts to grow, that's when things change. And here's where the pattern begins. Reason number one: you're emotionally safe, but not emotionally demanding. This one is subtle. If you attract emotionally unavailable people, chances are you're very understanding. You listen, you give space, you don't pressure, you don't demand reassurance. And to someone who fears emotional closeness, that feels comfortable. You don't challenge their walls. You don't force them to show up fully. You don't make them confront their fears. So they stay. Not because they're ready for love, but because you allow them to avoid it. And without realizing it, you might be teaching them that minimal effort is enough. Now here's the uncomfortable question, and I want you to sit with it. Are you confusing patience with emotional self-abandonment? Because there's a big difference, and this leads directly to the next reason. Reason number two: you're used to earning love, not receiving it. Many people who attract emotionally unavailable partners grew up having to earn affection. Maybe love came with conditions. Maybe you had to be good, helpful, or low maintenance. So now, as an adult, your nervous system recognizes emotional distance as familiar. You don't consciously choose unavailable people, your body does. You mistake emotional inconsistency for chemistry. You mistake longing for connection. You mistake emotional distance for depth. And when someone is fully present, emotionally open, and consistent, it might feel boring or uncomfortable. That's not because it is boring, it's because it's unfamiliar. And here's the open loop I want you to hold on to. This pattern isn't about attraction, it's about conditioning. We'll come back to that. Reason number three: you give emotional access without emotional requirements. Think about this for a moment. How quickly do people open up to you? If you're the person everyone feels safe talking to, if people tell you things they've never told anyone, if partners lean on you emotionally but don't fully commit, that's not an accident. You're emotionally generous, but generosity without boundaries becomes emotional availability without protection. Emotionally unavailable people love this because they get connection without responsibility. They get intimacy without accountability, support without commitment, comfort without vulnerability, and slowly, without meaning to, you end up over-functioning in the relationship. You're doing the emotional work for two. And here's the hard truth. When you make it too easy to stay half present, people rarely choose to be fully present. Now let's talk about the reason that hurts the most but explains everything. Reason number four: you believe if you love harder, they'll open up. This is where hope becomes a trap. You see their potential, you see their wounds, you understand why they are the way they are, and part of you believes, if I'm patient enough, if I love them well enough, if I don't give up, they'll finally choose me. But emotionally unavailable people don't become available through love. They become available through self-awareness and choice, and no amount of love can replace that. Here's the painful paradox. The more you try to prove your worth, the more you reinforce the dynamic where your needs come second. And this quietly teaches your nervous system that love equals effort, anxiety, and waiting. Which brings us to the most important reason of all. Your nervous system is addicted to emotional inconsistency. This is the one almost nobody talks about. When someone is hot and cold, when affection comes and goes, when connection feels uncertain, your brain releases dopamine. Not peace, not safety, dopamine. That's why the highs feel so intense. That's why letting go feels impossible. That's why calm love feels dull in comparison. Your body isn't craving the person, it's craving the emotional pattern. And until that changes, emotionally unavailable people will continue to feel familiar, even magnetic. But here's the shift that changes everything. So, how do you break the pattern? You don't start by choosing different people. You start by choosing different standards. You stop bonding through emotional absence. You stop explaining your needs to people who can't meet them. You stop proving your worth through patience and pain. Instead, you ask one simple question early on. Does this person show emotional consistency, not just emotional intensity? Because intensity fades, consistency reveals character. And when your nervous system learns that safety is attractive, that clarity is exciting, that availability is normal, emotionally unavailable people stop feeling like home. They start feeling like a red flag. Final thought. If you've attracted emotionally unavailable people, it doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're emotionally capable, but you've been giving your depth to people who couldn't meet it. The pattern ends not when you love less, it ends when you expect more. And once that shift happens, everything changes.